world we can live together very soon. I can't be worrying about if my child in school is the next Columbine or Sandy Hook. Oh god, I didn't even read this comment. Shut the fuck up. Okay. No, I'm not saying shut the fuck up. I'm sorry, friend. Okay, so, okay. This is what I'm talking about. If they made it mandatory that schools weren't quote-unquote gun-free zones, and I'm not saying let the fucking third graders have a little gun, a little, play rifle or BB gun or something, because that would be ridiculous. You have to be 18 or 21, depending on the state that you live in, to fucking own one. So the only people that would actually be able to possess a gun on campus, if it was an elementary school or a middle school or even a high school, if they made it a non-gun-free zone, would be the teachers, faculty, or the police resource officer on duty, which should have one and usually does. But in fact, he's usually taking care of hooligan kids that can't mind their own business and be respectful and sit in class like a normal human being and just shut the fuck up and at least let other kids learn. So they're usually going back and forth between removing them from class and then taking them down to juvie or whatever, so they're probably never there. I mean, that's how it was in most of my schools. So when the police officer is dealing with a said child that is acting completely irate and like a fucking inhumane person because their parents didn't fucking put their foot down and give them some goddamn discipline and expect a society to raise them. God, now this is going to be a whole other rant. The police officer is now actually away from his original job, which is to protect and serve the kids and make sure that there is no Sandy Hook fucking shooting. Or, in these other liberal states, they think that it's unnecessary for the fucking officer to actually have a gun there because they say it's a non-gun free zone, and why would he need a gun if there's a bunch of kids at the school? Well, there you go, you just proved my whole fucking point. You just said, I don't want to have to worry about my kids with the Sandy Hook shooting. Well, so that means that either the faculty or the schools themselves are incapable of securing the perimeter of the said school, which is the government and the county's fault, actually, because it's public school systems, therefore it's actually controlled by the government. If there were private schools, I'm not saying religious private schools, but if there were charter and private schools, then they would be able to decide if they want to put barbed wire around or put security guards on the outside or decide if they're gun free or not. You get what I'm saying? So, if there was, in theory, on paper, something to combat this, because if you actually look up in Europe, all the bullshit that's been going on that I've been, like, almost having a heart attack over, one thing I find amazing and awesome and interesting is, go ahead and go look at a map of Europe, pause this and go look. Where the fuck is Switzerland? It's a little itty bitty thing. It's little, meaning that they probably don't have that big of a population to Germany, France, the giant fucking countries around them. And they're right smack dab in the middle. You notice that nothing's going on in Switzerland. Switzerland's not putting up fences, because I saw that today. Apparently France is putting up barbed wired fences around their entire border now. And now the German policia is now saying that they're checking IDs at the borders. And even Sweden grew some balls and said that they're going to start checking IDs. And the Germans are telling them not to come anymore. The actual police. So, you notice that nobody from Switzerland's coming on TV and telling them, refugees don't come here. They're also not crying out victim that they're getting raped. You also don't see any Arabs or Muslims or whoever, Africans, coming over and talking shit to Swiss people. You know why? Not only do they have the right to bear arms over there, but it's actually within their cultural norms, like baseball is here, where they take pride in understanding a rifle. They have even antique rifles for decoration. They pass rifles down in the family generations. They stand for our freedom, and we're proud of it, and we're responsible. They understand that all the safety protocols, so there's no accidents. They obviously don't hand them over to people that are incapable of having them, aka we're not giving guns to third graders. They also understand, too, that what is the point of pulling out my gun and trying to point it at someone when, even if they don't get their gun out soon enough to point it right back at me, the 5 people next to them have their gun too, and they've already pointed it at me, and then it becomes a Russian roulette crazy, like, oh, are we going to start pulling triggers and having fun now? Is that going to serve? You're all going to be dead. And because they understand what happens if they shoot each other, and they also understand that they all have this commonality and respect for their own nationality as well as having the rights that they do, that they see no reason to try to intimidate each other with guns, because everybody has one. And I'm not even going to go into statistics about fucking gun deaths and crime and shit. Yeah, if you don't know that already, then I don't know. I'm not even going to go on with that. It's more sick individuals with weapons in the 19th century. My friend, I would love to educate you on some medieval history. You don't even know, because a very interesting statistic with Australia when they had their guns taken away in 1996. I saw this chart the other day, and the reason why I remember this is because, you know, I'm morbid and everything. But I saw this graph that they said that suicides by guns went down after they took guns away. No shit. But there was a ridiculous increase of suicides by other means for all the ones that didn't kill themselves with guns, meaning that people got more creative. Please don't make me do some stupid video about how many weapons I can make out of random fucking objects. In fact, I actually have a couple books on my shelf over there that says extraordinary things made out of ordinary items, and a survival army tactic book that shows you how to make bombs and stuff, and I kind of combined them together. I could be real damn creative and make the Columbine kids envious of what kind of damage somebody could do. I'm gonna say somebody, because if I say me, then one of you crazy liberal people are probably gonna call the cops and say that I threatened schools. I didn't. This is an analogy. This is an analogy. So anyway, now I understand why I typed as much as I did. Let's see. So he's like, I wouldn't want Big Brother catching my face either. But you have a very good point of view. I totally agree. I totally agree. In fact, I actually put tape over my camera when I'm not looking, when I'm not using it, because there was that incident where some person who knows how to obviously use computers really well and networking was hacking into Miss America, one of the Miss America ladies' webcam, and was actually getting footage of her naked. Like, that's not embarrassing enough in violation of privacy, but then he actually started posting them online, so that's a concern. I have my laptop in my bedroom. I take my clothes off sometimes, or there's just things that, you know, I just don't really feel like Big Brother or any fucking perv or retard needs to see. So yeah, I do put tape on it. I completely understand what you're saying, but there, and that's why we also have the right to form a militia and bear arms, because that's actually what it's all about. If you need to take on Big Brother, you need to take on the government. You need to continue to go. Basically, what you need to do is you need to try to be civilized about it, discuss it like mature people, and then try to go through all the proper channels and avenues through the laws and all the regulations that we have that protect you and your kids, supposedly. And me, or whoever, if they even do that, because I don't think they do that. And if that doesn't work, then you obviously need to let other people know that, by the way, if you ever have this problem, good luck with that, because I tried that and they don't give a fuck. And then you get, you know, a support group going. And then maybe if there's more than one voice saying the same thing that you're saying, maybe they'll listen to you. And then if they actually never intend to listen to you because they don't give a fuck about you, which is evident, then that's where the fucking Second Amendment comes into play. Because our founding fathers were dealing with the same shit they're dealing with now. Maybe it more or less came down to the fact that they didn't want to be Christian. They didn't want to deal with the tyrant and being told what to do by some guy who was, you know, inbred into royalty and sits on his ass and has diabetes, and he was a lazy fat ass and never did anything but tell everybody else how to do stuff. That would probably piss people off. In fact, that would piss me off. That's also why I'm really pissed about the whole Muslim Brotherhood and Muslim culture coming into this country, because they think that women aren't allowed to make their own decisions, and fuck if anybody ever thinks they're gonna make my decisions. And see, that's actually why I've turned into this whole, it's not like I was never a constitutionalist. I never actually aligned with a party. It says some really dumbass shit. Republicans, you know, tend to do that, but I don't think it's actually because they're stupid. I think it's because they're controlled by lobbyist interests, and they have a narrative, and they don't know how to wedge the gap between what the lobbyists actually really want them to do and what their platform's about, so they have to make up all kinds of crazy, you know, Holy Ghost, Mary got raped by a fucking ghost and actually didn't, you know, have sex out of wedlock, which is what I think would happen, and she's just trying to cover it so she didn't get stoned to death, because back then that's when, you know, the whole Islam and Christianity had some common ground. That's why we've evolved a little bit. And also why we shouldn't let them in the fucking country. And that's me manipulating my persuasion into my discussion. Just in case you didn't know that. Obviously, that's evident because I'm being so blatantly obvious about it. But just so you know, everything you watch on TV, everything you see on Twitter from some sort of, influential person that seems like an unbiased opinion has some sort of motive. Even if it's their own personal motive or if it's something that they're being coached to say.